Hello, everybody, and welcome to the AM/PM podcast. My name is Manny Coates, and I will be your host, and this is the show where we discuss all things Amazon private label and how to generate recurring revenue streams 24 hours per day during the AM and the PM, hence the name of the show. Get it? AM/PM podcast. As a matter of fact, I was back in the gym, and I am sore. My muscles are hurting, but while I was in there pumping that iron, I was making money. How cool is that? Pretty cool, I think. Hey everybody, I am here with Tony Bennett. He's a 46-year-old programmer, I believe, right? Is that right, Tony?
That's almost right. I'm an ex-programmer now. Now
Right.
I just manage programmers.
Nice. And so you've been doing that pretty much your whole life. You live in Austin, or where do you live now?
Yeah, now I live in Austin, Texas. I moved around a lot, but we're settled here.
Cool. I typically have people on here that are experts and pros, and they've been doing this for years, and they're making millions of dollars a year, or crazy amounts per month. I wanted to kind of flip it a little bit, bring somebody on that's brand new, essentially, for the most part, and get their perspective, because I think that's the type of interview, that's the type of person that can relate to maybe 90% of the audience that listens to the podcast. So I wanted to reach out to you and say, hey, can you come on the podcast, or would you like to? And you said, yeah, and here we are. So it's going to be cool.
Let's do it. I'm happy.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about yourself, first of all.
Yeah, so like I said, I've been making video games actually for most of my career, and mostly in England and California before moving out to Austin. And got out of that business, but I'm still in game software, casino slot industry now. But it was about the time of my midlife crisis, I figured I needed something fresh and new. So, I just started reading a lot and changed my mindset and just started to grow myself. And then I kind of discovered FBA through podcasts, actually. Pat Flynn's podcast, The Passive Income, which led me to, I think, a Ryan Moran podcast, which ultimately led me to your podcast. And then, yeah, definitely, and which has been massive, of course. But that was back in November 2016 was when I first heard FBA. Didn't even know that existed, quite honestly.
Okay.
But
just
once
a little over half a year ago is when you first started listening to the podcast?
Yeah.
Getting into it. Okay. All right. And then you're doing programming. I want to back up a little. You do mobile gaming, or what kind of programming do you do?
Back in the day, it was Xbox, PlayStation, PC. Now it's actual casino, slot machines on the casino floors. Yeah.
Okay. And so 6 months later, you've been listening to podcasts. What else? Any training?
Well, the podcasts are the training. I mean, that's what you guys do, I mean, it's amazing value because it's free. And I just, I play it at 1.5 speed on the way to work, on the way back from work. Ever since November, December, I just absorbed it like a sponge. It's been pretty sick, actually. I owe my family big time, but there's a lot to learn. So something just clicked, and I knew I wanted to do this,
Awesome.
So, I mean, come January, I set myself a goal of finding a product, sourcing a product, and heading on down that path. And now here I am with 2 products out the door.
Okay. Cool.
Which is only just out the door, but they're out the door. So.
So how long has it been since you actually launched the products?
19 days.
19 days. Not even a month.
Days. Not quite.
Wow. Okay. And are they 2 separate products? Are they parent-child variations, or totally separate?
I might have gone a little crazy. So I was planning on one product. So I ended up actually launching, or I'm going to be launching 3 brands, 4 products, 10 SKUs total. But right now, what's out the door is 1 brand, 2 products, and that's 8 SKUs right there. Okay. But 6 of the SKUs are size, color variations. So really, it's just 2 products under 1 brand is what is currently launched.
Okay, cool. So 19 days, not a lot of time to actually get any sales. Where are your sales? Do you have any sales so far?
On the 2 products, the first one I have 84 sales, and that's averaging about 4 sales a day. And the second product is only going about 15 sales right now, which is expected. That was more of an accessory product to the main product. First one, it's in the low hundreds for the BSR, and the second one is in the low 200s for its BSR. So, 19 days sales, 50% driven by PPC, 50% organically / Facebook, Instagram advertising.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good. I mean, if you're averaging 4 sales a day, even if it's coming from PPC right now, you're driving, you're getting your product seen and put into Amazon's algorithm, right? It's indexing, so that's good.
Yeah.
And what I am curious, so what's the dollar amount roughly? You have
Sure.
In the 19 days, where are you at there?
So for total sales for both products, a little under 2,000, so 1884.
Okay, that's awesome. So I love this because, again, we're always talking about big numbers with people, and I think sometimes it just scares people away. They're like, "Oh my God, I'm never going to attain. How am I going to get to 50,000 a month?" Right? It's just crazy, those numbers. But when you start talking about $500 or $1,000 or $2,000 in 19 days, it's doable. And are you doing this full time right now, or still part time?
Well, it feels like full time. No, I can't quit the day job just yet, but it takes a lot of focus, and you have to kind of get obsessed, and so a lot of late nights and weekends. Yeah.
Yeah. What made you get into this? If you've already got, it seems like an interesting job making video games or slot games in this.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I've always had that kind of entrepreneurial spirit. I've started a couple of businesses in the past, and I don't know. I just got that midlife itch again, I guess. I just wanted to kind of reboot and start something fresh, and I really just wanted to own something and drive it myself, and eventually, hopefully, turn it into a full-time gig.
All right, cool. How did you come up with your products, the initial products?
Good question. So the first product was pretty much through the usual channels of Jungle Scout and scrubbing those lists and following the practices you teach and the other guys teach. So I did find one through there, or two through there actually, and then I kind of did what do I want to get into? What am I interested in? What are my passions? I found one through that. I wasn't going to launch that, but I got a sample, and my daughter took it to school, and she's like, "Dad, when are you going to put these on Amazon? My friends want to buy it." I'm like, wow, I wasn't really going to go, okay, let's take a shot.
Nice.
And that's been my bestseller. So
that's cool. So what category are you in?
Right now, sports and outdoors. And then the next two will be kind of home and outdoors-ish, and automotive.
Okay. And are you sourcing from China, or is it here in the U.S.?
Yeah, I'm doing that Alibaba thing for now. I'd love to get from a U.S. source just to cut out a lot of time, quite honestly, and shipping. Whew.
Yeah, I know. The shipping time, well, the shipping costs and the shipping time is brutal. If you want those costs down. Are you, right now, are you doing everything via Express Air, or are you going by sea?
I'm doing air I'm doing both. So I got a little ballsy there, maybe ahead of myself, but one of the things I'll stress, and I can't stress enough, is building those relationships with those suppliers. It is critical to your success. So in doing that and knowing that's important early on, my supplier worked such a good deal with my not just my air costs, but my sea shipping. He took care of everything, the freight forwarding, and it was door to door, and I didn't even have to do anything. So, and that was just all through relationship building and working on costs and pricing and timelines. And so what I did actually was I split some of it air, freight, because the Express was a little pricey it's almost over that standard size. And then shipping for, 500 units and air freight for 50 units or something. But, and everything else was Air Express because they were really small and lightweight. Yeah.
Okay. So, but you're saying it was almost beyond that size, so they're a little bit bulky? Is that what it is?
One of them is bulky. Yeah, it's that kind of shoebox size thing.
That's the killer with shipping, right? It's like, man, it's light, but it takes up so much volume.
Super light, super lightweight, but it's volume.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this one has to be a little padded, so that takes up even more because of just to protect the product. But
fragile, yeah.
But
Okay.
that's okay because the other critical lesson I learned in this whole process is patience. You have got to be patient. You want to
Yes.
get, you want to hit the ground running. You want to get product selling fast, but if you got to be patient because, I didn't even know Chinese New Year was a thing, and
Right.
guys was shut down for weeks, and so that completely killed my initial business plan of I'm going to have products by the end of March and we're going to be profitable by the end of June. It's like,
There's always hiccups. We're sourcing now for Halloween right now. And we're like,
oh,
and we're getting to that point where we're like,
uh,
if we don't get this stuff in within the next 30 days, we're done because we need time to rank it and stuff. And then Christmas is, I know it seems like so far away, like half a year away,
yeah.
but we're going to be ordering for Christmas in the next 90 days. So it's just
I,
crazy.
yeah.
People are probably going to ask. Well, actually, before I ask that question, I want to ask you one more thing about your freight forwarder. When you said that your supplier kind of held your hand and did everything,
Mhm.
were they actually the freight forwarder, or did they actually go out and source a freight forwarder for you?
That's a good question. I don't honestly know the answer. All I know is, they're using UPS on my end.
Hmm.
Um, so I just got a tracking number and all is good.
So you never dealt with anybody else other than your supplier. You just sent
Just
them for the shipping and everything. You just paid your supplier.
Yeah,
Okay.
once I whittled it down, I always dealt with just one
Yeah.
person for
Okay.
each product all the time. It's been
Well,
awesome. Maybe I
a,
got lucky. I don't know.
a lot of people might be going, "Well, that's risky or that's weird." But yeah, that's exactly what I did when I first started as
Hmm.
well. I had my first supplier. They were super good to work with, super communicative relative
Yep.
to all my other suppliers,
Yep.
and just detail oriented. Because I can't tell you
Yes.
how many times, and maybe you've dealt with this, where you're dealing with multiple suppliers and one's really detail oriented, the other one you got to keep repeating stuff and they send you the wrong stuff and it just messes things up constantly, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. We didn't even talk about my two failed launches, so we can talk about that a little bit.
I do want to talk about that. Well, before we get to that, how much did you actually start your business, your FBA business, with?
I would say, all said and done, for all 10 SKUs, I'm going to be in for about 20 grand.
20 grand. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And
That's everything. That's samples, monthly costs on everything, and I was going to say photography, and the full kit and caboodle, getting it out the door, and current PPC costs.
okay. And that 20 grand gets you inventory as well?
Yeah, that's full inventory on everything. So
Okay.
I'm running it's 500 units per product.
So 20 grand gets you 1,000 units, 500 per product. Is that where we're at?
Sorry, you lost
You,
me for a second.
you
So,
said you had 2 units or 2 different products right now?
I'm talking about the four,
Oh, all of them.
all of them. Yeah. So,
Okay. So you have
so my
2,000 units.
yeah, I'm sorry. My average cost per product is about $5,
Okay.
and then shipping is actually I'm paying about $2, $3 per unit to
Okay.
ship, and I'm selling for about right now 19.99 to 24.95 or something
Okay.
in
That's
that
nice.
range.
That's good. So you had about, if I did the math correctly, about $10,000 your cost in product, roughly. Is that right? Two,
Yeah, yeah,
2,000 units times five
yeah, yeah,
bucks
yeah.
a unit, plus your shipping costs. Okay, so that's good. So it's not so bad when people go, man, 20 grand, that's crazy, but you've got a lot of inventory that you're bringing in.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
Cool. So, all right, failed products, because nobody ever talks about this. They always talk about,
Yeah.
I'm awesome. I'm a wizard at launching stuff, and I always tell people on the
No,
podcast, I'm like, my first product, man, it didn't work for me, but
no.
I didn't give up, and I just moved on. So these 2 failed products, did they come before these other products, or did they come after?
Yeah, fortunately, they failed at different levels. So
Okay.
I didn't get to launch them, fortunately. So that, I wasn't out a lot of money. I was out samples and time. I probably lost about $500 in samples because I was iterating on different combinations of, let's just say, art or colors and things like that.
Hmm.
One of them was just a rookie mistake of working with a supplier with below like a 2-year standing on Alibaba. So these guys pop up all the time. I think he might have been a 1-year guy,
Hmm.
and they just sent me rubbish. It was junk. But they took like a month to send it to me. So I was waiting and waiting and waiting. So that one
Yeah.
just was like a complete non-starter. The second one was actually run into patent problems, which again, going back to communications and relationships with the supplier, she actually alerted me to the patent.
Nice.
Yeah, and she sent me documents on it and everything, so it was awesome, amazing. So I was about to pull the trigger on the order, and that's when she sent me that, and it's like, I guess I can't do it.
Yeah.
But I was I was at about $500 there, but again, I lost probably 2 months in total because we were getting samples, and they were custom samples, and they took extra time and extra money. So,
But thank God you didn't actually place your big order and then get it out here and then find out it was patented.
Yeah.
I was there as well.
It's scary. Man. Rookie mistakes, and again, that tied in with Chinese New Year. That was January, February gone, so.
Okay.
So I kind of rebooted in March, and things have gone better so far.
So far, so good, huh?
So far, so good.
Okay, so cool. So, you have 2 products launched now. You have the other 2 products. Are they in the process of still being researched, or are they literally, you got inventory ordered and it's on its way?
Yeah, actually, both have hit the warehouses.
Okay.
I am still waiting on the sea shipping to come in, but the initial, they're doing whatever Amazon does, which is to farm it throughout the country, and I have to kind of wait for that to settle. They kind of move it to different Amazon warehouses, I guess.
Right. Okay.
So it's closer to the consumer, I imagine.
Yeah. Let's go back to Alibaba. I want to talk about the failed stuff because I think there's some really important lessons in this. When you were ordering and you were waiting all this time, you said you lost some time. If knowing what you know now, and if you could go back, how would you do things differently?
That's a good question. Let me think. Well, so with every product, I reach out to at least, I want to say 15 suppliers. And then you can quickly whittle down people who don't respond within 24, 48 hours. You can whittle out the guys who just don't have a good grasp of English. Whittle out the guys on price. You can get to like a short list pretty quickly, 3 to 5 people. Then I get it down to 3 real fast. And then I'm just pretty much looking at communication, lead times, and price. Then I get samples out of those 3 and see which one I like. And then from there, it's kind of, I guess, pretty good sailing so far. But just follow the rules that you guys preach, which is, you check the gold supplier box. Definitely from now on, I would look for suppliers that have a standing of 3 years, maybe even 5 or more, quite honestly, depending on the product. Fidget spinners, obviously those aren't going to be 5 years. Well, actually, that's not true. Anybody and their dog is selling those now. I actually looked into those, but I tracked them on I think it was Jungle Scout for 2 weeks, and it was obvious price was just dropping so fast. By the time I even got a sample, it would be dead in the water.
It might be the fastest drop in pricing on any product I've ever seen. It was crazy.
It was
literally
insane.
Like $20. Everybody's crushing it, and then it was like within 60 days down to like $1 or $2 or something. And I know there's people that are still crushing it, but 99.9% of them are not.
Yeah, so you do have to be careful with those trends. Again, going back to the teach-ins, look at the Google trends and try not to get too excited over fads. And if it's too good to be true, kind of trust your gut on that kind of stuff. And do the same with Alibaba. These are just I know what. So here's an answer to your question.
Okay.
But again, it goes back to communication. You have to be so specific and detail oriented and exactly lay out what you want for your product. Send pictures if you can. Label those pictures. Point arrows at things. Just you can't over communicate what you want from your supplier.
Yeah.
Can't stress that enough.
That's a super golden nugget right there, because my friend Elena, she talks about this all the time. She's got a business where she brings people to China and they go sourcing. And if you tell your supplier, an example she uses, she was like basically saying, hey, I want to make my product and I want it in blue. Well, blue is subjective. What blue do you want? You're thinking one thing, they might be thinking something else, and you're going to get something maybe that's turquoise. And you're absolutely right. When I'm dealing with my suppliers now, and they're going to be sending me samples, I don't waste any time with samples until they send me photos of everything they're going to send. I even say send me videos, hold them in your hand so I can see the size of them, because I'll tell them something. I'm like, hey, I want the size to be about this, and I want it to look like this, and da-da-da-da, whatever it might be. And when they send you the sample, they're like, what is this?
Yeah.
What did they send me? This is not what we discussed. And it was my fault, because I wasn't as specific as you're saying that you need to be, right?
Yeah.
To be detailed.
So just to finish up on that note, the patent product I was talking about was air loungers. You know, those big inflatable things you scoop up air and lay down in. And even then, when they were sending me their templates for how they print, because I was trying to do custom designs on those, even when I sent back art on their own templates, they would still print it incorrectly. So, you know, it's insane. It's frustrating, and you have to just be super patient. But yeah, you know.
Yeah, it happens. You know, and you'll learn as you go. It's never ending. Today, this morning, I got a package. And it's one of those, it's the first thing that I've done like this is for Halloween. It's one of those clear hard plastic type deals, and they send me the template for it. And I'm like, well, what are the dimensions, you know, of this thing? And they're like, oh, just put your art on it. I'm like, well, yeah, but what are the dimensions? And which sides are actually visible? Yeah. Which ones overlap, you know, to make the seal? And there was no concept of it. It's like crazy, you know, for this particular supplier. I have other suppliers that are super detailed, and they send stuff, and it's, you know, it's awesome. But no two suppliers are going to be the same. So the supplier that you dealt with did have a gold rating, right? They had been in business for a couple of years, according to Alibaba.
Yeah, all of them. All of them did. Yeah.
So what was the deal? What was it when they sent you the product? You said it was garbage. Why was that not identified, you think, in the beginning?
So I found a product on Amazon. There are many products like it, but this one was unique. It was cooler than the other ones. And so they had that picture on there on Alibaba. So I'm like, cool, these are the guys that supply that product. No, they supplied a hacked up version of it with cheaper materials, you know, misspellings on labels, and just didn't come with all the supplies inside. It was just clearly they had latched on that this was a hot selling product, and they were going to try and pump it out the door under the guise of this, you know, I guess newly formed manufacturer. So yeah, it tore on the first attempt of even trying to do anything with it, and that was the end of that. So it was disappointing, because I still think that one actually has potential. I might go back to it when I made some money.
Find somebody else. Yeah. Have you checked out 1688 yet? Are you familiar with that?
I am familiar. I haven't really digged into it yet, because right now all my capital is, you know, I told myself 20 grand. Let's see what happens. Let's try and get that back at least. Make some profit before delving into new products. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Awesome. Well, I guess I would recommend you guys that are listening or watching now, actually, because we got video. If you can, one of the things that helps me out is before they send any samples, I just ask them to send me a video. You know, just to, like we just talked about, because you can avoid a lot of these scenarios where you think you're going to be getting something. They're sending you, if you just ask for photos, a lot of times they're going to send you the photos of the actual product that you saw that's not even their product. And then when you get it, you're like, this is garbage. This is not what I wanted. If they're showing the video of it, you know, you can ask them to, you know, say your name, whatever it is that you want. I try to be very nice about it. And I've never had an issue with it, with them actually doing that for me. But I identify problems right away. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's not packaged right. Or what is that? Why did you guys do this? And then they'll change it around. Remember, the sample isn't just, this is for everybody. This is not for you, Tony, specifically. But when you're getting your samples, it's not just to test the quality of the product. Hopefully, you can save some time by having them use the packaging, or at least seeing similar packaging to what you're going to be using. That way you can see it all at one time. Because I've had that issue as well, where I order the product and the product is great, but then we got to go through the delays of trying to get the packaging just right. So if you can get it all at one time and you go, man, this packaging is pretty good. I try to get them to send me something from one of their clients that's very similar to what I want, at least in the packaging, and then I know. So just one more idea to do.
Yeah, that sounds so simple. It's ridiculous that I didn't even think to ask for a video, but absolutely moving forward. Yeah.
Are you communicating with them on Skype, or what do you use?
Yeah, I try and get off of Alibaba as quick as possible because I just hate their messaging system. So Skype is my personal preference. They love to hit me up on um, some
WhatsApp?
WhatsApp, but I don't like that. So
No.
I kind of redirect them to Skype, and they're fine
Yeah.
with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't get it to work on my phone. I don't know. We went to China on a sourcing trip, and yeah,
Uh,
you're right. It's like that's what everybody uses,
hmm
and it just wouldn't work. Everybody was trying to get it to work. So
Yeah.
I'm non-WhatsApp.
Yeah.
WhatsApp. So all right, cool. Is there anything that you'd like to mention that we haven't actually covered?
Well, you just mentioned packaging. I didn't really go with packaging for this first batch. I just went with, OPPs, which are the kind of thicker plastic bags. But that works well for, well, that's not true. One of them is a box product, and I did go onto Fiverr to get a box label design done. Didn't have to pay much for that, maybe $50, and it came out really nice. So Fiverr has been a good resource for me. I've got photography through there that turned out really well. Probably paid about $300 per SKU type to
And
get.
was that with lifestyle images as well?
That was lifestyle. I got what I get 7 photos out of that, I think, with 3 or 4 on the white background and the rest lifestyle.
Okay.
They're out there on Fiverr. There's some good ones out there. For the
Just
logo.
just like on Alibaba, you've got to kind of sift through them and find the good
Oh
ones.
man, yeah, you do, big time. I'll say while we're on the kind of product art stuff, 99 Designs. I use those for my logo.
That's a good one.
Very good. That came out really well. Very happy with that.
Hmm.
What else have I used? I didn't get an inspection.
No inspection.
I
You're
didn't.
brave.
I was very, you know what though? I mean, stupid and brave and lucky. So far, so good. But
Oh.
I had with this initial sample and the customized sample, and just again going back to relationships,
Mhm.
I had a pretty high level of confidence, and their tenure on Alibaba. These were guys that have been around for 5, 6, 10 years.
Mhm.
So there's that.
Okay. Did you have them ship the products directly to Amazon or to you first to kind of inspect briefly?
Yeah, man, I straight
rolled
to
the dice.
Amazon.
Straight
I
to
did. Yeah,
Nice.
call me crazy. I wouldn't recommend that necessarily.
Yeah.
There were many a sleepless nights because of that.
Yeah.
But next time I would pay for a inspection in China. It's really not expensive. Yeah.
Couple $100 usually for
Yeah.
a really good company. Yeah.
What else? I set up my sales backer campaign to get kind of get that customer feedback review chain and going.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was super easy to do.
Okay. And are you familiar with the early reviewer program by Amazon now?
I am, but I don't have trademarks. I'm not brand registered, so
Okay. Yeah. You just started. Yeah. That's true.
yeah. But I would totally use that. I would totally use that. But funnily enough, I don't have any reviews, and I'm making those sales through PPC. And like I say, I put about $75 into Facebook ads and about $75 into Instagram ads, and just ran that for 2 weeks. It's anybody can do that. You set up a quick fan page and you create an ad with some art and an offer. And I just actually didn't even drop my price. I just said up to 20% off. I just launched with my regular price, and on Amazon I had the discounts. Buy this, get this one for 10% off, kind of thing. So I linked external benefits on Amazon.
Hmm.
Um,
And what did better for you, Instagram or Facebook?
it's 50-50 right now. 50% PPC, and yeah. So I don't know if that's good, normal, average, bad, or what, but that's what it is.
Interesting.
Uh,
Okay.
I actually, one more thing I guess I'll throw into that mix, and I don't think I've gained many sales from this, was I kind of did a cold calling thing, which was from a previous business. I had an email list that I kind of did a shout out blast to. Hey, as a previous customer, we're launching these new products, yada, yada, yada. But I don't think I got many open rate clicks, conversions on that. But, you got to use what's available to you, friends, family, whatever you need to do, man.
That's right. Try it all out. How many hours would you say you're putting into your Amazon business right now?
Ugh. way too many. Um,
What would that be per week?
okay, realistically, right now, I probably, I must be spending 3 hours a day on it, but I'm spending 8 hours a day thinking about it.
At work. You're distracted.
The worst part right now is PPC. I can't leave it alone. It's like a something I just have to be involved. A programmer. I got to look at the numbers
You're
constantly.
the analytics. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
just gonna say because of the way you're wired, you have to look at it.
So I'll throw out a little warning to new sellers is let it be, let it sit, monitor it, and if
Yeah.
there's some outliers, definitely attack it, but let it be for at least a week, unless it's killing your profits and your bank account. But if you tweak it every day, you're not going to get consistent, readable, usable data. So
Are you using it to try to generate sales, or is it more for generating keyword data that you can use to update your listing with?
sales, I did a ton of keyword, data mining before launch. I did the full optimized listing thing, front end, back end search terms, every other field I could fill out, even if I don't know if it's factored in or not. I filled it out, right? So use the usual tools: Keyword Inspector, Google Ads. There's a keyword index checker on Google Chrome I use. Helium 10, I've used Scribbles and Frankenstein and some of the other stuff in there. Love those two especially.
Cool.
Yeah. Those are, when you're writing a product listing and you're diving through hundreds of keywords, oh man, that's been a lifesaver. What did I use? Did I use that one yet? Is it a phrase or is it just a word?
Yeah,
Man,
Scribbles has saved my butt so many
oh
times.
my
That's
God.
why I had it created, because I was just like, I would get frustrated. I think I told this story, I believe. I've told it so many people. I think I told it on a podcast, but I created a listing once, and if you're like me, you go back, you edit, you change things, you come back from eating dinner, and you look at your title and go, oh, that sounds weird, and you change it around. And by the time I did it, and I was using Excel, I
Yeah.
left out, I was one of my very top keywords. Somehow it went from the title to like a bullet, and then never went back to my title, and it was gone.
Ooh.
And I launched, and I was running, and I'm like, oh, why is this
Ouch.
thing not ranking? Why is this keyword not anywhere?
Oh
And then
man.
I found out, I'm like, oh God, it's not in there. So Scribbles eliminates that whole issue. You never have to worry about that.
Oh,
So
and the 5K checker. You want to poke your nose in on that, especially when you first launch weekly. And then go back to your listing after you got that PPC data and fix the back-end search terms and add those keywords to your listing. So that's what I've been spending my last 2 weeks doing.
yeah, and check.
Uh,
You should. I think if you guys haven't done this that are listening right now, make sure you're checking the front end indexing as well. Super important. A lot
yeah,
of people always check the back end, but we're finding out now that sometimes only a couple bullet points will index. So, and for whatever reason, it's like field, let's say 2 or 3, or maybe it's 4 or 5, whatever
mm,
it is. But you can move things around. So I'll shift the most important stuff into the fields that are indexing, and then my sales spike up. So always check not only the back end to see if you're indexed, but check the front end as well.
yeah, that's gold right there because if anyone's on those Facebook groups, there's many to choose from, but people are asking that question all the time. Hey, I'm only being indexed for this, or this suddenly stopped. My sales are dropped. What's going on? And the algorithm keeps changing. People are not sure, and it's dependent on categories, dependent on who knows what. But you got to constantly monitor and check and adjust because, yeah, you're gonna get burned if you don't.
Yeah, for sure. Wow, that's
Yep.
good. That's good. That's good advice for people to use tools. I mean, the tools, guys, I know it costs money. I mean, Scribbles and Frankenstein's is free to use, but
Yeah.
most tools out there are going to cost something, but it's going to save you a lot of time, a lot of headaches, and a lot of money
Yeah.
if you're like missing a keyword like I had that was one of my main golden keywords. So
Shame on you. Shame on you.
I know. It was so fun. But
Yeah.
it's a good story now. I tell people, like, look, it happens
Right.
all the time. And
That could happen to anyone. Yeah, exactly.
right. And I love talking to you about, like you're like, hey, you know what? I've had some products that, failed. It wasn't a colossal fail, so that was good.
No.
You caught it in the beginning.
Hmm.
I was like you. I had a patented product, didn't know it was patented. I had the samples. It was amazing. No competition Go figure, right? I'm like, wow, there's only one company selling this. This is amazing. Nobody's thought to actually create it, and it was an expensive product. For me, it was, I think, I forgot what it was. It was a product that sells for well over $100. So I'm like, well, maybe there's no competition because people just can't afford to buy a lot of inventory. And then just before I pulled that trigger, and it was going to be my biggest order ever, was when I decided to do some patent searches just to see.
Wow.
And sure enough, I wasn't lucky enough for them to tell me that it was patented. I just had to actually find out. So,
Well, I did my own research too, and I was trying to force it. I was like, well, I think I can get away with this because there's like 20 other sellers making bank. So but turned out that patent actually didn't get fully, I guess, legitimized until early January. So they'll knock them down. It's like playing whack-a-mole though. So you could take the risk. You might earn some money, but for me, it wasn't worth it. And then the other one, I just remembered another one was not just patentable products, but definitely for new sellers, check the restricted categories, because I almost got into lockpick sets, thinking, oh, those are selling well, and turns out you're not allowed to sell lockpick sets on Amazon. So
really? Okay.
But people do. I don't know how they get away with it. Some are FBM, some are FBA. Again, if risk tolerance, it's up to you guys. But
they've skirted around something. Something. It's a matter of getting caught, I guess, before they start pulling it.
Yeah.
So, how did you figure out your price point?
Just looking at competitive, top selling products in that kind of range. So I'll go back to the branded part. I didn't want to just throw out another product and try and compete and get into a price war. And I wanted to create a brand that had some legs. So that's why I put a little money down on 99 Designs to come up with a really nice logo, good looking font. And I think that has been pivotal to these selling well. It's the kind of product that you show it to somebody like, oh, cool, yeah, nice, and they want to buy one. It's just not a boring another widget kind of thing. So
did you do anything to it? You said it was your first one, so you didn't even on one of them you didn't create packaging. Did you make it different in any other way other than just putting your logo on it this first time around?
Yes and no. I didn't have to custom. They already had the custom version on Alibaba, but people weren't really selling the custom version on Amazon. They were selling the standard version without these kind of additions, let's say.
Right. The tweaks.
The tweaks. So there was one seller selling with the tweaked version, but just one, and then there was 50 others selling the regular one. And I saw that he was doing well, so I'm like, okay, proof that people want this product. But on top of that, I kind of added that logo that adds an extra kind of coolness to it, the brand logo. And I created a website just to back it up as far as kind of social proof. We're not kind of just the website, you guys, by the way, if you're worried about I got to do everything and create a website and do this and that, you really don't. The traffic on the website is minimal. It's not converting sales. It's a nice to have for the long play, but don't stress about that.
Yeah. More importantly, for the trademark, I would say, so you can get your brand registry, you get your trademark, or I guess in that order now. It's flipped around. Yeah. Well, it sounds like your product has got some legs now. So, in 19 days, that's pretty solid. Might be time to file that trademark, huh? Get that brand going.
I was going to run through this first order and see when I should order the second round, and then do that at the same time, as well as bring in. Here's an interesting thing about PPC, you guys. I wouldn't have realized that people were searching for a certain color of my product, but now I know. So I'm going to order another SKU and add that color line to this brand, and it should just be instant sales because I already know people are looking for that color.
Yeah. So, are you going to create it as a variation?
Everything is on one listing right now. So I have the parent and then all the childs are on. So I only have one listing. But what are your thoughts on that? Like having all variations as separate listings versus?
There's pros and cons. I would say that if it's just a color, and you're just starting out, I'd probably make it a variation just so you pull in the reviews, and you have instant reviews for this brand new product. That's probably what I would do. Because if you separate it, maybe you can have more than one of your products that show up on the search results on page 1, let's say.
Right.
If you separate them, because if you do it as a variation, that's typically not going to happen, right? But then you're going to be showing up with 0 reviews. That's the only thing. So unless you have your trademark, like you said, then you can get into the early reviewer program with Amazon. I signed up for that, by the way. I did it, and just today, was it today or yet last night, I got an email from Amazon saying that they charge me the first fee. They don't charge you the fee until you get your first review. So it took, I don't know how long it's been, at least a week to 10 days, I would say, since I signed up till the time that I got my first review. So it's not very fast. It's probably faster to use some other method to get, your initial reviews.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, the long-term game plan is to end up kind of where you're at.
Awesome. Well, and I'm trying to get higher. So, what is your goal? Where would you like to see yourself at by January 1st? After Christmas and everything, where would you like to be?
It's funny because I did lay out a business plan at the beginning of January, and it's kind of just I've had to kind of just almost forget about it and start over because I'm learning so much as you go every step of the way. It's kind of learning time model because if you try and learn everything up front, you're going to get overwhelmed and you'll never start.
Yeah, that's a good lesson.
Yeah.
Just try. Just get out there, do it. It doesn't have to be perfect the first time.
No.
Get as close as you can without. If you wait too long, you just, like you said, most people will not launch.
Yeah.
It won't happen. You'll get busy.
You're gonna run out of time. You're gonna have fears. You're gonna have doubts. You're gonna question the costs and the value, regardless of if you try and make it perfect or not. So you're better off just going forward and just taking action and just make sure you're, just trust your gut. You probably already know what feels right and what doesn't. And then just get on the podcasts and the Facebook groups. I can highly recommend. That's been the most valuable places for me to learn how to do this because, like I said, I didn't know this last year.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Tony, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. I want to talk to you after the year's finished and just kind of do a refresher for everybody, see where you're at.
Cool.
You're probably gonna be one of those guys like Manny. It blew up. I don't know. I've got like 80 products out there. It's crazy.
Wow. Well, yeah. This year right now, just four different types of products, but the wife is already talking about. I know what we should add to this brand. I'm like, slow your roll. Slow profits out of this one first, because like I say, PPC is just eating up the profits right now. But working on that momentum and man, you guys just get obsessed, never stop learning, taking action, be patient, start small. You can all do it. If I can do it, trust me, you can all do it.
That's great advice. So if anybody wants to reach out to you after they watch this, can they do that on our Facebook group?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Cool.
I'm
All right.
I'm pretty active on there, so yeah, please do.
Perfect. So guys, that's the FBA High Rollers. So if you want to go there, just type that into Facebook, or you can go to the ampmpodcast.com website, and it should be a big old blue Facebook button, and hit Tony up. Yeah, talk to him. So thank you, Tony, for coming on. If you guys like it, actually post a comment and let us know, because that's going to be the plan, is to have some faces to the voices here. So thanks again, and we'll talk soon.
You've been listening to the AM/PM podcast hosted by Manny Coates. For more information, insider tools, and to get the resources mentioned in this episode, visit ampmpodcast.com.